Buckle up. We are about to go on a wild ride into uncharted territory. Today, we are going to talk about 15 legendary Magic the Gathering cards, old school and kind of new school, that currently find themselves banned in the game's most popular format, Commander. Why are we doing this? Well, this is Commander for Dummies, aimed at onboarding new players, aimed at making you the best Commander player possible. This is your cheat sheet for all things Commander. And I got to tell you, we have an incredible amount of new players in the game, thanks to the game opening up with universes beyond. And one of the number one questions these new players have is, why are these cards banned? Why can't I play with them? They don't look that bad. Is there something I'm missing? So today, that's what we are devoting this episode to. We are going to educate. We are going to entertain. We are going to enlighten. Today, we're going to go over 15 of these legendary banned cards. I'm going to talk about why they were banned in the first place, because a lot of people weren't around to see these wreak havoc on the format. And then I'm going to give you a prediction of whether or not we will ever see these unbanned. And I might give you my opinion on a couple of these cards, all right? I've actually got them divided into 4 categories. We're going to dive right in right now. And the first category is, unfortunately, guys, cards that I don't think we will ever see unbanned. The first one that we're going to look at is Tinker. This is one of the most powerful cards ever created. In fact, some people think this card was a mistake, right? Too much power was unleashed on the Commander universe. You pay 3 mana, 2 generic and a blue. And at the time you play Tinker, sacrifice an artifact. Not hard to do in an artifact deck. Search your library for an artifact card, put that artifact into play, shuffle your library afterward. Do you realize that you can go on, say, turn 2 even, and get yourself a Blightsteel Colossus, and it is game over for everybody else at the table? You can get a Portal to Phyrexia. The fact you can go in and get some of these massive casting cost, game-ending artifacts, this card, there is no denying it. It is absolutely broken. And I don't know if we see a day where there are no banned cards in Commander, but I would bet if we do, this would be the singular last card that would ever be unbanned by Magic the Gathering. It is that powerful. Now, as for me, I play with banned cards. If you go to my Moxfield, and I will put a link to the show notes for you, you will see I will use Tinker in some of my decks. That leads to a chance for us to discuss something called Rule 0. So in general, in Commander, if you're playing by the proper bracket system, cards are banned. But you can have this Rule 0 talk. Some pods play with banned cards, all right? So if you ever have that question of me, why I've got some banned cards in my deck, it's because my pod, we are cutthroat. We play with the banned cards. And I will tell you, there are some cards I think that should be unbanned. I don't think they're that powerful. This is not one of them. This isn't, I'd like to see it unbanned, but this is an insanely, insanely powerful card. And I don't think we are ever going to see it off of the banned list. Another one that falls into that category, Fast Bond. I play with Fast Bond. I did a video on my own channel trying to argue why this should be unbanned. But the truth is, it's an extremely, extremely, extremely over-horsepowered card. First of all, it only costs 1 mana, which means you can get it out right away. And then you may put as many lands into play as you want each turn. Fast Bond does 1 damage to you for every land beyond the first that you play in a single turn. One of the key premises in Magic is you only play 1 land per turn. You can play more than that. I always talk about how important mana ramp is. You will win. This is a mana ramp cheat code with other cards. There are all kinds of ways for you to literally dump all of your lands onto the battlefield, get an explosive start, and win the game. I doubt we will see the day. I've tried to argue that green has a way to play all kinds of extra lands, so this isn't as powerful as it once was. And while that is true, the power level on this card, I don't know if we're ever going to see it unbanned. Yawgmoth's Bargain. Insane card. It's a casting cost of 6. Think of this as Necropotence or Bolas's Citadel, but taken to a new level. Skip your draw step, pay 1 life, draw a card. In the Commander format, and by the way, I want to go back to Fast Bond here. The penalty here for playing a land is 1 life. The penalty here for drawing a card is 1 life. That's not nearly enough. In the Commander format, you have 40 life, right? So think you can draw 20 cards for a 20 life penalty. That is absolutely worth it. So this card as much as I'd like to see it unbanned, especially because of the high casting cost, I just don't think we're going to see it because people will dump their entire, they'll pull their entire library for life, all right? And if you were to combo this back to this with something like Shoulder the Apocalypse, it gives you life every time you draw a card. Now you can just draw through your deck without a single drawback. Here's one for you, Griselbrand. I showed this one last because I kind of think this is on the border. Massive casting cost. Costs 4 generic, 4 black, flying, and lifelink. You pay 7 life, you draw 7 cards. Again, almost unlimited card draw, which is insane. Now, you'd think because of the high casting cost, this could get unbanned, and that's what I'm hoping for. That's why this is the last card of the group. However, there are ways to cheat this out turn 2, turn 3, and again, it is such an explosive start. That said, I think this is a lot more powerful in the CEDH format, the super competitive format. I think in bracket 3, bracket 4, you can get away with this, and it's not as powerful, but there's a lot of people that disagree with that statement. So unfortunately, I feel like we are unlikely to see Griselbrand unbanned. I think he's going to stay in the ban as much as I want to say free Griselbrand. I've been screaming that from the rooftops for years. The next group, unlikely to see an unban, but maybe. First one up, the Prophet of Crufix. 5 mana, 3 generic, a green, and a blue. Untap all creatures and lands you control during each other player's untap step. You may cast creature cards as though they had flash. The combination of those two things, it's problematic for people. First of all, you get an extra turn every turn because every other person's turn you can play because you have access to all your lands or creatures you're on taps, and you can cast your creatures as if they had flash. So you can cast them. I want to say cash them, like we're cashing them out, but you can cast them at any time. And what this led to was a couple of things, all right? First of all, everyone who has blue and green in their deck is putting this card in. So it saw play in too many decks. And the Commander panel, at least the old one, I don't know what the new Commander panel's thoughts on this are, although I have my suspicions. They wanted variety in the game, so they don't want the same card appearing again and again and again. And then number 2, it made for an unfun play style because you were doing all this stuff on everybody else's turn and you were monopolizing the playtime. Now, I don't think that's as much of an argument as it was back then because there's all kinds of little token generators and things that people can play. That's just a personal preference thing, but there's no doubt this card is powerful. I don't know if we'll see it unbanned. Next one, Golos the Tireless Pilgrim, all right? When Golos Tireless Pilgrim enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put that card onto the battlefield, tap, and shuffle your library. Then you pay a bunch of mana, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. It's a powerful commander. I believe that this is banned and remains banned because this would be the de facto 5-color commander in the universe. Like, this might shoot to the top of the list. At the same time, would it really be more popular than Kenrith? I don't know about that. Would it be more popular than the Ur-Dragon? I don't know about that. But I think they're going to keep this banned just for variety's sake. That said, it is a powerful card, but I don't think the power level speaks to its banning. We got Raphaelos, the much maligned, the one true king of the elves. I have argued for Raphaelos to be unbanned. The reality is it's an extremely powerful card. Costs 2 green mana, and then add 1 green mana to your mana pool for each forest you control. Now, I am biased. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to shoot you guys straight. I want every card unbanned. I like playing with banned cards. You know this. I've argued that this is powerful, yes, but there are other cards in green that are more oppressive, maybe like a Gaia's Cradle. All right, I think a Gaia's Cradle is more powerful than a Raphaelos, but the argument's always been, with this in the command zone, all right, it's different if it's in the 99, but with this in the command zone, it's got a low casting cost, and you are guaranteed insane explosive mana ramp every single game. That said, I think Marwyn the Nurturer might be a more powerful card. Some people think I'm crazy. I don't know if this is getting unbanned, but listen, this is extremely, extremely powerful. You could make an argument that out of this group of cards, the 4 cards I'm going to show you, this is the most powerful. And the final one, it's not the hero that we want, but listen to me when I tell you this. Look at me. Pay attention, all right? This is the hero we need. You might have got a little spoiler here. It is the one, It is the Hull Breacher. Flash. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, instead you create a treasure token. This is the one hero that we need to save us from the Ristic study and rampant card draw in Commander today. There's one problem with that. The Hull Breacher can be completely abused. You ever heard of a card called the Wheel of Fortune? All right? You play Wheel of Fortune. Everyone discards their hand. They draw 7 new cards. If you have a Hull Breacher out, all your other 3 opponents are each going to have to draw 7 cards. But you're going to make about, look, they can't draw cards because of the Hull Breacher. How many treasure tokens are you going to create? Well, if an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, I mean, you're making like 21 treasure tokens. It is wild, and you will run away with the game. You combo Hull Breacher with wheels. It is nuts. So, like, you either ban Hull Breacher or you ban all the wheels. I don't know what you're going to do, but this is the one hero that can save us from Ristic study. I just want you to note that. So just maybe we will see it unbanned. I've argued it before that I think there's cards as powerful as this. I said that new Gleaming Splendor from The Hobbit is an insanely powerful card, and we should get the Hull Breacher back. I have made that argument, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can with you this episode and tell you I don't know if we'll ever see it. The next group of cards are cards that I put in the category of insanely powerful, but super high casting costs, so I think they could be unbanned right away. Primeval Titan, 6 mana, 4 generic, 2 green, trample. Whenever Primeval Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, you may search your library for up to 2 land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. The key with the card is enter or attacks. There's all kinds of ways you can abuse that with either blink effects or extra attacks. And then you get 2 land cards. There's a problem with that. It's not basic lands. You can go get any land you want. It ends up being a bit of a cheat code. It's a great card, but I think for the rate that you pay for it, like if this costed 3 mana, it'd be a no-brainer to keep it banned, but it costs 6. That high casting cost, I kind of think it makes it unbannable, to be honest with you, and I think we're going to see it unbanned. There's been some rumors, there's been some whispers and some dark corners that we might see it. Next card, another green card, same kind of thing, Sylvan Primordial, 7 mana, 5 of them generic, reach. When Sylvan Primordial enters the battlefield, for each opponent, destroy target non-creature permanent that player controls. Land destruction is extremely powerful, and for each permanent destroyed this way, search your library for a forest card and put that card onto the battlefield, tap and shuffle your library. So you're going to destroy everyone else's stuff, probably their lands, and you're going to get an insane amount of mana ramp. But again, it costs 7 mana. With that high casting cost, it could come off. Sundering Titan, another extremely powerful card, all right? And by the way, this falls into the same category as Primeval Titan. These were banned because it would be one thing if the effect only happened once, but if you can blink it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, just run somebody right out of the game, that's when it becomes problematic. Sundering Titan has the same issue. When Sundering Titan enters or leaves the battlefield, now you get double triggers if you're blinking it. Choose a land of each basic land type, then destroy those lands. It's got mass land destruction. Here's the deal. Because it has mass land destruction, I think this could become unbanned because it's automatically going to be a bracket 4 type card. The minute you put this in your game, it's going to go to bracket 4, and that is, I mean, it is a cutthroat format. But there's a reason they wouldn't unban it, and that's because it will go in every deck ever. It costs 8 generic. Why wouldn't you run it? It's one of the best big creatures of all time. But again, it costs 8 mana, so I think we could see it. And now look at this. Big Daddy, Emrakul, the Eon's Torn. Maybe the most powerful Magic the Gathering card ever if you take out the casting cost. The casting cost, 15. Listen, if you can cast this, you deserve to win the game. I will say that on record. But look at the power. It can't be countered. When you cast Emrakul, take an extra turn after this one. Flying, protection from colored spells, Annihilator 6. And then when it's put into the graveyard, you shuffle your graveyard into the library. It's an insane card. I can't even deny it. It is awesome. Now, on the pro side, casting cost of 15. You can cast it, you win. That's fine. The negative, it's colorless. It's going to go in a million decks. That's what people say. I don't know if that would actually happen. The final category, we're going to go over all 3 of them at the same time because these are notoriously linked. The old Commander Committee banned these all in one fell swoop. They did it in one day. It was a very dark day in Magic the Gathering. There was a small, very toxic part of the community that lashed out and made death threats and all kinds of other things against the committee. I want to say That was completely unwarranted. It was unkind. It was uncalled for. It was disgraceful. They made a decision that they thought would be best for the format, and they took some heat for it, and it was undeserved. I've been critical about the committee in the past, the old committee, but they were, I do believe they had some good intentions at heart, okay, when I look back in retrospect. And they didn't deserve what kind of like came crashing down upon them. But that gives us an interesting point to talk about what's happening now. Wizards took over control of the format. It used to be a fan format, and now there is an official Wizards control group for Commander, if you will, or Commander panel. And their decision is, do we unban these? Now, we're going to go over each card one by one, and then we'll talk about just some bigger picture stuff with this. The first card is the Dockside Extortionist. When Dockside Extortionist enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Explosive mana ramp with treasures. This is an extremely powerful card. However, I do think it's more powerful in CEDH, where people have access to a lot of zero-drop mana rocks, like Chrome Mox, Mox Opal, Mox Diamond, where you can ramp really fast. I see this as less oppressive, less powerful in like a bracket 4 or a bracket 3. Keep in mind, I consider myself the resident expert on banned cards here, because I do play with banned cards all the time. And in the way we play, because I don't play CEDH, it's not as damning or damaging as people would have you believe. It's still a pretty powerful card though. Mana Crypt. Fast mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Mana Crypt deals 3 damage to you. And then you can add 2 mana. Again, a CDH kind of, it was a staple. You can play this turn 1. I mean, you're winning on turn 1, turn 2, because you get that much extra mana. I don't think it's as powerful or problematic at bracket 3 or 4. In fact, I think a turn 1 Soul Ring is more powerful than this. That's why I've always argued that's why this should be unbanned, but there's no doubt about CEDH. It brings up an interesting point. Should we have a separate ban list for CEDH? If we had that, I think you would see both of these unbanned. But like I said, there's no doubt they are powerful cards. Now, final one, Jeweled Lotus. I want this unbanned so bad. So bad. I love it. I have said that this is the only thing that allows you to play big casting cost commanders. It's a 0-drop, and then sacrifice Jeweled Lotus, had 3 mana of any one color. Spend this mana, only cast your commander. There's a problem with it. It doesn't just affect big commanders. Like if they had another line of text that said you can only use this if your commander costs 5 or more, that would probably fix it. The problem is you can use this on a 3-drop commander or a 2-drop commander. This is what the problem is, especially because there's no mana burn anymore. So that's where that becomes problematic. Some of these commanders, you might be able to bring out turn 1, which is going to be wild for like a 4-drop commander. All right, so that can be problematic. I've done that with Anwan the Rune Thief because I play with banned cards, and it's miserable for everybody else at the table. That said, again, I think the turn 1 Soul Ring is better than that, and I think they may unban these 3 cards. I think these are the most likely. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but there's another layer here. If you unban these, are you rewarding the people that made the threats and acted out a turn? That's hard for me, guys. Like, part of me thinks they should be punished forever, but like part of me thinks they're going to complain and act toxic anyway. And so why are the rest of us punished? It's a real conundrum, I'm sure. And I'm sure behind closed doors, it's something that's talked about. But I had to talk about these 3 cards in their own category because, like I said, they're inextricably linked. So there are your banned cards. We'll do a little review. We got the Mana Crypt. We got the Dockside Extortionist. We got the Jeweled Lotus. We got Emrakul, Sundering Titan, Sylvan Primordial, Primeval Titan. I think those will be unbanned because of the high casting cost. Unlikely to be unbanned. The hero we don't want, but the hero we need. The Hull Breacher. Save us from Ristic Study. Raphaelos, Golos, and the Prophet of Krufix. And probably never going to see an unbanned, but here we can hope. Yawgmoth's Bargain, Fastbond, Tinker, and my guy, the Gristlebrand. Free Grizzly Daddy. Whatever the kids call him these days. I just made that name up off the top of my head. I am a wacky individual. So there you have it. There are your banned list cards. That's your guide to the banned list. Now, there are a bunch of other cards in the banned list, but I wanted to pick more of the popular ones that are on everybody's radar, all right, that everybody talks about. And just give you a bit of education, because like I said, this is Commander for Dummies, only on Girudo, aimed at making you the best Commander player possible. A couple things. Get yourself a sign up to Girudo. It's the best online community people you will find anywhere, all right? Subscribe to the channel for this great YouTube. We are growing fast, all right? And if you like this series, and then finally, get in the comments. Tell me what you think about these cards. Are they new to you? Like, are you excited to play with these? What do you want to see unbanned? What do you want to say? Old school players, this is for you too. What do you want to see stay banned? Tell us your favorite story about, back in, whatever day that this card was wreaking havoc and ruined your Commander experience. I would love to hear it. And as always, tune in for the next episode of Commander for Dummies, only on Girudo.